Mercedes have finally unveiled their 2025 challenger, the W16, and in the process, they've exposed something massive, something that might have changed the course of the past two seasons had it been addressed sooner. The team has finally managed to fix the fundamental issue that plagued Lewis Hamilton during his final years with them. But here's the catch. It's all happening after Hamilton has already packed his bags and is now proudly donning Ferrari's signature red. The timing could not be more ironic. The very problem that left Hamilton frustrated and at times outright disillusioned with Mercedes' performance has now seemingly been eradicated. But just when he needed it most, the team couldn't deliver. The question now is, what exactly was the issue and why did it take so long to fix? And how could this impact Mercedes going forward? Well, the W16 was revealed just 2 days before pre-season testing in Bahrain, marking the dawn of a new chapter for the Silver Arrows. And from the looks of it, they might have finally cracked the code that haunted them through 3 seasons in the ground effect era. While the W15 had its moments of brilliance, bagging 4 Grand Prix wins last year, it was wildly inconsistent, especially in qualifying. Hamilton in particular suffered from this instability, often finding himself starting from way down the order and having to fight his way through the grid. This wasn't just a small hiccup, it was a systemic issue that had been plaguing the team ever since the 2022 regulation changes. Hamilton himself had spoken about it multiple times, voicing his frustration over how unpredictable the car was from one weekend to the next. The last 2 years, it made all of us in the team's lives tough, Hamilton admitted during the 2024 Singapore Grand Prix. I would say these rules have made life tough for everyone. Some weekends we arrive and we think we're going to be better than we are and we're not great, and then some weekends all of a sudden we're there and win the race and it lifts us up. For a driver like Hamilton, who built his legacy on precision and consistency, dealing with such an unpredictable machine must have been really infuriating. He even compared the experience to playing golf, saying, "It's a bit like playing golf. You get one good hit and it makes you continue, but all the rest of the shots are really bad. It's that kind of experience. It can be so frustrating, but you still love it and you still continue to go. You've got to keep pushing because you're searching for that feeling again, like we've had at Silverstone or Spa." But now, just as Hamilton embarks on his journey with Ferrari, Mercedes technical director James Allison has revealed that the team has finally managed to solve the very problem that was making Hamilton's life miserable. Being the 4th year of these regulations on the chassis side, the cars are in the more mature phase, Allison explained. Big gains in lap time are harder to come by, but we've been concentrating on making improvements in the areas that held us back last year. Our primary focus has been on dialing out the W15's slight reluctance to turn in slow corners, along with the imbalance in tyre temperatures that made the car inconsistent from session to session. In other words, the car will now finally handle better in the slower corners, something that had been a thorn in Hamilton's side for years. But what does this mean for Mercedes in 2025? Toto Wolff, the man at the helm of Mercedes F1 operations, has already framed this season as the start of an exciting new era. That era, however, will no longer include Lewis Hamilton. Instead, the Silver Arrows will be fielding a new driver lineup with George Russell leading the charge alongside the young Italian sensation Andrea Kimi Antonelli. We open an exciting new era in the sport of our team and Mercedes-AMG Motorsport in 2025, Wolff declared. We are building on the incredible legacy of our heritage and we can't wait to go racing. We have an exciting lineup to help us achieve our objectives. Both drivers have progressed through our junior program and that is a vindication of our commitment to both supporting and developing talent. It's clear that Mercedes is now focused on the future, but the shadow of Hamilton's departure will still loom large over the team, at least in the early races of the season. The W16 has also introduced a significant change to its livery, as it no longer features the prominent red branding of Ineos on the airbox. While the chemical giant remains a major shareholder in the team, their branding has been significantly reduced, sparking speculation that this could be related to their recent acquisition of Manchester United. On the technical side, Mercedes has completely revised every aerodynamic surface on the W16, and they've also introduced changes to the front suspension in a bid to finally eliminate the deficiencies that made last year's W15 such a temperamental mental machine. The big question now is, how will this affect Mercedes' performance in 2025? And more importantly, will they regret not having fixed this issue when Hamilton was still around? One thing is certain: if Mercedes suddenly becomes a front-running team again while Hamilton struggles to adapt at Ferrari, it could be one of the most dramatic twists in recent F1 history. The narrative of what could have been will inevitably take centre stage. For Hamilton, this situation might be bittersweet though. On one hand, he finally has the fresh challenge he's been craving for years, with the opportunity to drive for the most iconic team in F1 history. On the other hand, he might look back at Mercedes W16 and wonder if he jumped ship just a bit too soon. Meanwhile, George Russell and Antonelli have the monumental task of proving that Mercedes still has what it takes to fight at the front. Russell in particular will have to step up as the undisputed team leader, while Antonelli will be under immense pressure to deliver on the hype that has surrounded him since his junior career. On the other hand, Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc will lead the charge of the prancing horse. Ferrari's executive Loic Serra has confirmed that the team has put in a lot of work to improve their qualifying pace, a change that could be a game changer for Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton struggled massively in qualifying throughout the 2024 season, losing 19-5 to George Russell in head-to-head battles and ultimately finishing 7th in the championship, his worst ever season result. At one point, after another disappointing one-lap performance in Qatar, Hamilton bluntly admitted, "I'm just slow." Ferrari, meanwhile, found themselves in an unusual position. For the first time since 2017, they had more race wins than pole positions. While that ultimately helped in the standings, Charles Leclerc repeatedly stressed the need for better one-lap performance. To address this, Ferrari's chassis technical director Loic Serra, who joined from Mercedes in October 2024, says the new SF25 has been designed with Saturdays in mind. "I think the long-run strength of the car you want to retain and you want to improve," Serra explained. While Ferrari has had strong race day pace, their qualifying performances have left room for improvement. Serra emphasised just how small margins make a huge difference in F1. If you can get a bit more out of that first lap, you'll take it, especially when 30 milliseconds is the difference between one position. But will that be enough to challenge for the championship? I guess only time will tell. With pre-season testing just around the corner, we won't have to wait too long to find out if Mercedes' fixes have truly transformed the W16 into a championship contending machine. But one thing's for sure: if they suddenly start winning races again, the biggest what if in recent F1 history will be staring us right in the face. So what do you think? Did Mercedes finally solve their biggest problem, but at the worst possible time? Could Hamilton regret his move to Ferrari if the W16 turns out to be a beast? Let us know in the comments below, and once you do that, make sure to like and subscribe.